Frome, here with your forecast for the rest of the day. Today is Monday, April 8th. There is a high of 66 and a low of 55 and 7-mile-per-hour winds. The day will be mostly cloudy with scattered showers. The chance of precipitation is near 35%, and 1/4 of an inch is possible. Tuesday, we're looking at a high of 72 and a low of 57. Wednesday, a high of 75 and a low of 63. Thursday, a high of 73 and a low of 54. And Friday, a high of 52 and a low of 41 in Pine Grove, Pennsylvania. In sports news, a new multi-million-dollar renovation of the PNC Field, home to the Scranton Wilkes-Barre Rail Riders. It's a new team and a new stadium. In top news today, it is Ethan Frome's life, a story written by Edith Warden. The story of Ethan Frome took place in Starkfield, Massachusetts. It took place in the late 19th century to the early 20th century. A visitor to Starkfield, Massachusetts, narrates the intro and conclusion of the story of Ethan Frome. When he first sees Ethan Frome, he describes him as a starking figure. He is really tall. He looks like a powerful man, and he walks with a careless look. He is stiff and grizzled. The narrator thought he was an old man, but found out that he is only 52. He then goes on to tell the story of how Ethan Frome came to look the way he does now. Ethan Frome is the protagonist of the story. He's a farmer whose family has lived and died on the same Massachusetts farm for generations. He's a sensitive figure, almost mystical appreciation of nature, and he has a strong connection to the youth, beauty, and vital spirit of Maddie Silver, his wife's younger cousin. He, however, ultimately lacks the inner strength to leave and escape the sickly Kindlet and his sickly wife. Zena Frome is Ethan's sickly wife. She comes across as a prematurely aged person. She is prone to altering fits of silence and rage, which is utterly unattractive, making her the novel's least sympathetic figure. She is only interested in the treatment of her own illness, displaying a degree of hypochondria throughout the whole entire story. Despite her physical weakness, she holds a dominant position in the household, not Ethan. Maddie Silver is Zena's cousin who comes to assist the Fromes to take care of them. She is attractive, young, and energetic. Maddie then becomes the object of Ethan's affection, and she feels the same way towards him. Because the reader only sees through Ethan's eyes, Maddie never becomes a well-rounded character. She is often just seen for Ethan's rebellion against Zena in Starkfield than an actual person. The major conflict in the story is Ethan's with his own conscience. He doesn't know whether or not to reveal his true feelings for Maddie, because he does have a wife, and she is sick. Ethan then decided he couldn't contain his feelings for Maddie anymore. He had to tell her. He didn't care if Zena found out. He knew that he wasn't in love with her. Ethan then told Maddie just as she was about to get on the train and go home. And then Maddie confessed to liking him back. Ethan knew he couldn't leave Starkfield. It was his home. And Maddie didn't want to make him. She proposed that they commit suicide together. So Maddie and Ethan decide to go sledding. And they decide to sled into one of the biggest trees to kill themselves together. It didn't work out as planned. Ethan and Maddie regained consciousness after crashing into the elm tree. And both were very disformed and hurt. And the only person they had to take care of them was Zena. And she took care of them, being her old bitter self, throughout the rest of their life. All the events that happened throughout this story were foreshadowed. Throughout the whole entire story, there was references to sledding and dangers associated with sledding, and it formatted the climax scene in which Ethan and Maddie crashed into the tree. Another one is where the narrator describes Ethan in the beginning. He describes him as deformed, disfigured man who has obviously been into some sort of accident. It shows that the relationship with Maddie will only meet a tragic end, which it did. The story wasn't exactly like Romeo and Juliet, but they knew the only way they could be together was if they died together. It didn't end up that way, so that's what makes the tone of the story so eerie and ironic. But that was the story of Ethan Frome. This is another newscast by Samantha Flame. Tune in again next time.